Yo, so a couple videos ago we reviewed the Mochi Mochi no Mi thanks to the help of a special viewer that lent me his account. The video did really well and managed to get over 4,000 views at the time of this recording. Well, in this video we're going to be reviewing the Nikyu Nikyu no Mi, also known as the paw fruit. Now, I have zero idea if I said the name right because none of my friends knew if that was the correct pronunciation, but either way we're going to run with it. But before we start, 94% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you enjoy, help me out and drop a sub. We're scraping that 700 mark, so I'd really appreciate the support. Also, if you want to see us getting these clips live, be sure to drop in on my Twitch, link is in the description. We've been streaming Overwatch, GPO, reactions. We had some people fighting for bit leader in the chat. It's pretty funny, so like I said, if you guys are interested, be sure to drop by, link is in the description. But without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. So as usual, we're going to be rating Paw's strength, utility, rarity, and tradability, starting off with strength. I had the chance to use Paw firsthand through a longtime viewer's account, which is my guy 2K. His account already had a substantial amount of points into Devil Fruit, so I was able to get a pretty good idea of what the average player would experience while using Paw. To start, Paw's damage output is surprisingly good at a base level. Two of the more notable moves are the last ones that you'll get, which will be the Paw Barrage and the Ursus Shock. Paw Barrage launches a bunch of projectiles wherever your cursor is facing, so that makes it good for farming PvE because you can keep your distance while doing some good damage. The Ursus Shock is also an interesting move because you can scale the damage by holding it down, but it can also be used as a last resort because the damage scales even further if you're on lower health. The AoE is massive, but since it takes a while to charge, I can imagine it being a bit hard to pop in PvP unless you instant pop it. I wanted to see what the max damage output was, so I jumped over to my guy Blue's channel for a reference. Surprisingly, the Ursus Shock only did 480 damage with max Devil Fruit, but not fully scaled. Once he dropped his health and did it again, it nearly doubled the damage, doing 812. You guys should note that the shock does block break and go through Tech Eye, so if the damage was any higher, I think it would be just a tad bit broken. The last move I wanted to note for strength is the Shock Repel, which is pretty much the exact same as Gura's Come At Me move. It's just a counter that does damage after being attacked, so it's pretty good whenever you want to combo break or combo start. Overall, I think Paw's strength is pretty good because of the decent damage in the block breakers, but the ult charge is holding it back a little bit, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on to utility, 2K actually hit me up last night to put this at the top of the utility category. So Paw has a rendezvous move that allows you to retreat whenever you've placed your marker, and it's extremely useful in multiple situations. In the clip that he sent me, he was literally able to dive off the boat and grab his friend that was seconds away from death and then teleport back up top. I've also personally used rendezvous on stream with upwards of 15 people so we could Kraken farm. That move is insane and it has a lot of uses depending on how creative you can get with it. With that aside, Paw is decent for farming sea beasts and dungeons. The moves have pretty low cooldown, so you can spam AoE in dungeons, and then while farming sea beasts, just use your shock and your barrage. If you prefer to fight on land, you can also rendezvous back to a point to lure a serpent or a kraken back to you and your team. After recording the strength category, I'm also just finding out that the shock repel does an equal amount of damage to what you were supposed to receive. That could be insane if you're fighting a high damage opponent, regardless of if it's PvP or PvE. Unfortunately, that's all I could find for Paw's utility, as it doesn't buff any items and it's not a Logia with any special traits. I'll give its utility an 8 because the rendezvous alone is a wild move, and that's enough to put it above average in utility. Next up is rarity, which is always the easiest part of the video. Obviously, Paw is better than all the rares in that category, and it's not good enough to be placed into mythical. Just look at Tori and Mochi. So obviously the placement is a 10 in its legendary status. And finally is the tradability, which Paw is actually pretty good in. Although the value sits somewhere around Kage, Paw is traded very frequently in the Discord, and I see a variety of offers surrounding it, so I'm gonna give it an 8. On the wiki, it's placed directly above Goro and directly below Kage, but of course the tradability is community based, so the rating that I'm giving it is only based on what I see at the current time. With all the ratings added up, it comes up to an 8.5 out of 10, which I pretty much agree with. Paw is very similar to Gura with a tad bit more utility, so honestly I think it's fine that the rating sits very close to it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, and if you agreed or disagreed, be sure to drop a comment letting me know why. Also, let me know what you guys want to see next. I'm always taking suggestions and looking at those comments. Be sure to drop a sub. We're almost at that 700 mark, and pull up on the Twitch. I'm telling you guys, it'll be worth it. It's pretty funny whenever we have people over there. But that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.